The timeless pursuit of understanding life is a journey that has captivated the greatest minds throughout history. Lesson 1. Control what you can. At the heart of Stoicism lies the fundamental principle of focusing your energy on what you can control. In a world that often feels chaotic and overwhelming, it's easy to get caught up in worrying about things outside of our influence. This is a recipe for frustration and anxiety. Instead, shift our attention to the one domain where we truly have power: our own thoughts, feelings, and actions. We humans have a remarkable capacity to shape our inner experience, even in the face of external circumstances that we can't alter. Our minds are not passive receptacles of information. They are dynamic engines of interpretation and meaning-making. And it is in this realm of interpretation that we find our greatest agency. Consider for a moment how you respond to a stressful situation. An event occurs, perhaps a disagreement with a loved one or a professional setback, and immediately your mind leaps into action, generating a cascade of thoughts and emotions. It's not the event itself that determines your experience, but rather the way you choose to perceive and react to it. Epictetus put it this way: "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This profound insight lies at the heart of Stoic philosophy. By cultivating the ability to observe our thoughts and emotions with detachment, we can interrupt the automatic, often unhelpful patterns that can lead to distress and suffering. Imagine, for instance, that you receive some disappointing news. A Stoic approach would involve acknowledging the feeling of disappointment, but then stepping back and asking yourself, how can I respond to this in a constructive way? Perhaps you should reflect on what aspects of the situation are within your control, and then devise a plan of action to address those elements. Or you might simply take a deep breath, recognize that disappointment is a natural human response, and then consciously shift your focus to the things you can be grateful for. The beauty of this Stoic approach is that it empowers us to be the architects of our own experience. Rather than being at the mercy of external events, we can learn to shape our internal landscape in ways that foster resilience, wisdom, and even growth. Of course, this is easier said than done. Letting go of the things we cannot control and focusing solely on our own thoughts and actions requires immense discipline and practice. It's a skill worth cultivating, for it is the key to living a life of tranquility, purpose, and meaning. Seneca so eloquently put it, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." In other words, the obstacles we face are often less daunting than the fears and limiting beliefs that hold us back. By embracing the Stoic principle of focusing on what we can control, we unlock the courage and resilience to tackle even the most formidable challenges. Ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? And then direct your energy and attention to those aspects. Cultivate an unwavering commitment to shaping your inner experience, even as the external world ebbs and flows. Lesson 2. Accept what you cannot change. At the core of a fulfilling life lies the ability to accept what we cannot change. In this fast-paced, ever-changing world, it can be easy to become consumed by the desire to control every aspect of our lives. We often find ourselves striving to orchestrate every detail, only to be met with disappointment and frustration when the reality of our circumstances doesn't align with our expectations. However, the true wisdom lies in recognizing that there are some things that are simply beyond our control. Whether it's the actions of others, the whims of fate, or the inevitable changes that life brings, we must learn to embrace the concept of acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean surrendering or giving up. Rather, it's a profound shift in perspective that allows us to let go of the things we cannot change and focus our energy on the aspects of our lives that we can influence. It's about recognizing that we are not the masters of the universe, but rather, we are intricate parts of a greater tapestry, woven together by forces that extend far beyond our individual reach. When we practice acceptance, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities. Instead of wasting our time and energy fighting against the inevitable, we can channel our focus into more productive and fulfilling pursuits. We can learn to adapt to the circumstances, to find beauty in the unexpected, and to discover new paths that may lead us to unexpected destinations. Acceptance is not always easy, and it requires a certain level of humility and self-awareness. It means acknowledging our limitations and recognizing that our sense of control is often an illusion. But in doing so, we free ourselves from the burden of constantly striving to control the uncontrollable, and we allow ourselves to truly live in the present moment. Acceptance is an active process that requires courage, resilience, and a willingness to learn and adapt. It's about finding the strength to face the challenges that life presents, to navigate the storms with grace, and to emerge stronger and more aligned with our true selves. Remember, the things we cannot change are often the very things that shape us, that push us to grow, and that ultimately lead us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. By embracing acceptance, we open ourselves up to a world of possibility, a world where we can thrive in the face of adversity and find beauty in the unexpected. Lesson 3. Live in the present. Our minds have an uncanny tendency to get caught up in either worrying about what might happen tomorrow or ruminating over what has already come to pass. And in the process, we often miss the beauty and richness of the present moment, the only time in which we truly have any power to act and shape our lives. Marcus Aurelius put it this way: "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." In other words, the past and the future are mere constructs of the mind, and it is only in the present that we can truly exercise our agency and shape our experience. Imagine for a moment that you're out for a walk on an autumn day. As you stroll along the tree-lined path, your mind might suddenly start to wander. Perhaps you find yourself worrying about an important meeting you have scheduled for later in the week, or dwelling on a mistake you made in a project you completed last month. Now, a Stoic approach would involve gently redirecting your attention back to the sensations of the present moment. You might take a deep breath, feel the cool air filling your lungs, and notice the way the sunlight filters through the vibrant leaves overhead. You might listen to the rustling of the branches or the sound of your footsteps crunching on the fallen foliage. In doing so, you're not ignoring the concerns of the past or the future. Those are still there, simmering in the background. But by consciously bringing your focus to the here and now, you're interrupting the cycle of worry and rumination that can so often dominate our mental landscapes. This practice of mindful presence was essential for cultivating inner peace, resilience, and wisdom. When we're fully immersed in the present moment, we're able to let go of the unnecessary baggage of the past and the anxiety-inducing projections of the future. We become more attuned to the richness and beauty that surround us with each passing moment. And what's more, by staying present-focused, we're better able to respond to the challenges and opportunities that arise in our lives. Rather than being swept away by the tides of circumstance, we can approach each situation with clarity, creativity, and a deep sense of purpose. Lesson 4. Meditate and reflect. Consider for a moment the whirlwind of thoughts, emotions, and sensations that often occupy our conscious experience. Our minds are like restless, ever-shifting landscapes, constantly bombarded by a cacophony of mental chatter. It's no wonder that so many of us struggle to find a sense of inner calm and clarity amidst the chaos. This is where the Stoic practices of meditation and reflection come into play. By carving out dedicated time to turn our attention inward, we begin to cultivate a deeper understanding of our own thought patterns, emotional responses, and underlying motivations. And in doing so, we unlock the key to unlocking a profound sense of inner peace and resilience. Marcus Aurelius, the famous Stoic emperor and philosopher, was a devoted practitioner of these techniques. In his personal journals, he often exhorted himself to retire into yourself, to step back from the tumult of the external world and dive deep into the rich inner landscape of his own mind. Through this process of self-examination, Aurelius and other Stoic thinkers were able to achieve a remarkable level of clarity and detachment. They learned to observe their thoughts and emotions with a cool, impartial eye, rather than being swept away by the tide of impulse and reactivity. Imagine, for instance, that you find yourself in the midst of a heated argument with a loved one. A typical response might involve lashing out in anger or getting caught up in a spiral of blame and defensiveness. But a Stoic approach would involve taking a step back, closing your eyes, and turning your attention inward. In that quiet moment of reflection, you might begin to notice the physical sensations that accompany your emotional state: the tightness in your chest, the clenching of your jaw, the rapid beating of your heart. You might also become aware of the stream of judgmental thoughts and stories that your mind is generating, and how these are fueling the intensity of your reaction. By simply observing these phenomena with a sense of detachment and curiosity, you begin to interrupt the automatic patterns that so often lead to conflict and suffering. You gain the ability to respond rather than simply react, to choose your words and actions with wisdom and compassion, rather than being hijacked by the whims of your impulses. This, my friend, is the true power of meditation and reflection. By creating a regular practice of turning inward, we cultivate the capacity to witness the workings of our own minds with clarity and non-judgment. We become like wise and compassionate spectators, watching the drama of our inner lives unfold with a sense of calm and equanimity. And as we deepen this practice over time, the benefits begin to spill over into every aspect of our lives. We find ourselves better able to navigate the ups and downs of daily existence with a steady, unwavering presence. We become more attuned to our core values and principles, and more adept at making decisions that are aligned with our highest aspirations. Perhaps most importantly, by exploring the depths of our own consciousness through meditation and reflection, we begin to unlock a profound sense of inner peace and contentment. We realize that true fulfillment doesn't come from chasing after external achievements or possessions, but from the cultivation of a rich and nourishing inner life. Seneca put it, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." And what better way to avoid this waste than by devoting ourselves to the transformative practices of mindfulness and self-reflection? Lesson 5. Limit distractions. You see, in our modern, fast-paced world, we're bombarded by a constant stream of stimuli vying for our attention. From the endless pings and buzzes of our digital devices to the relentless cycle of news and social media, it can feel like we're drowning in a sea of distractions. It's a phenomenon that the Stoics would have likely attributed to our innate tendency towards passive impressions, those automatic, knee-jerk reactions to external stimuli that can so easily derail our plans and disrupt our inner calm. The key is to keep yourself in control of your impressions. Epictetus. By cultivating a heightened awareness of our own thought patterns and emotional responses, we can learn to intercept those passive impressions before they lead us astray. And it's not just about managing our digital devices either. Any activity or commitment that pulls us away from our core priorities and values can be a source of distraction and stress. This might include overcommitting to social engagements, taking on unnecessary projects or responsibilities, or simply allowing our minds to get caught up in worrying about things we can't control. By paring back these extraneous demands on our time and attention, we free up the mental and emotional resources to devote ourselves to the things that truly matter: the meaningful work, the nourishing relationships, and the deep personal reflection that can help us grow and thrive. Lesson 6. Interpret situations objectively. Our interpretations of events and circumstances play a far more significant role in shaping our experience than the events themselves. Consider for a moment a scenario that we've all likely encountered at some point in our lives. You're walking down the street, and you notice a friend or acquaintance who appears to purposefully avoid making eye contact with you. A typical response might be to immediately jump to conclusions. They must be upset with me. I must have done something to offend them, or they probably don't like me anymore. We can't know for certain what's going on in the other person's mind or what circumstances might have led to their behavior, Perhaps they were simply lost in thought or preoccupied with a personal matter. Or maybe they simply didn't see you in the moment. By resisting the urge to make assumptions and instead striving to interpret the situation with a neutral, open-minded attitude, we open ourselves up to a world of possibility. Rather than getting caught up in a spiral of worry, hurt, or resentment, we can approach the encounter with empathy, curiosity, and a willingness to give the other person the benefit of the doubt. This, my friend, is the essence of the Stoic principle of objective interpretation. It's not about suppressing our natural human tendency to make sense of the world around us, but rather about cultivating the mental discipline to pause, observe, and consider alternative perspectives before jumping to conclusions. Marcus Aurelius offered a powerful example of this approach in his personal reflections. When faced with the inevitable setbacks and frustrations of his role, he would often remind himself to look at things objectively as they are in themselves. He recognized that by avoiding the temptation to judge or condemn, he could maintain a sense of equanimity and focus on finding constructive solutions. By learning to approach life's challenges and uncertainties with a clear, impartial mind, we unlock the capacity for deeper understanding, more effective problem-solving, and a profound sense of inner peace. Lesson 7. Simplify your life. We find ourselves drowning in a sea of materialistic desires, social obligations, and endless to-do lists, all the while longing for a deeper sense of fulfillment and peace. But the true wisdom lies in the art of simplification. By deliberately paring down our lives to the essentials, we unlock a world of freedom, clarity, and contentment that eludes those who remain tethered to the trappings of modern living. Simplifying your life is not about depriving yourself or living in austerity. It's about making conscious choices to focus on what truly matters and letting go of the rest. It's about recognizing that the more we accumulate, the more we become burdened by the weight of our possessions, our commitments, and our endless activities. When we embrace simplicity, we free ourselves from the shackles of consumerism and the constant need to keep up with societal expectations. We reclaim our time, our energy, and our attention, allowing us to redirect them towards the pursuits and relationships that truly nourish our souls. Imagine a life where you wake up each morning, not to the frantic scramble of a packed schedule, but to the peaceful clarity of a day filled with intentional choices. Imagine a home where every object has a purpose, a place, and a story, a sanctuary that reflects your values and your authentic self, rather than the fleeting trends of the moment. This is the power of simplification, the ability to strip away the unnecessary and focus on the essential. It's a journey that requires courage, discipline, and a willingness to let go of the familiar. But in doing so, we open ourselves up to a world of unexpected rewards. If you'd like to dive deeper, be sure to subscribe to this channel, where we'll continue to unpack the wisdom of the Stoics and other great thinkers, all with the goal of empowering you to live a more fulfilling, purposeful, and Stoic-inspired life.